No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why. Until the dawn, I can't quit. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each movie make. Cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
So the keynote today is our student minister, Brother Herman Muhammad, and his lecture is stopping the violence and bringing the peace, the beginnings of peace. That's a lengthy subject. So you have to, in going into something like that, stopping the violence, there's violence everywhere. And it's getting worse every day that we speak and that we live. And when the minister's gone away from us, all hell is going to break loose. They just had another 7.0 earthquake over in Russia. Right. So, and if you're watching the scene, there's a lot of violence over there. But if you're watching the scene, all of a sudden Putin looks like a punk. Ukraine comes into Russia now. It's all kinds of tricky stuff going on. So, we were told Armageddon has begun. So just be mindful of what we were taught and what we're being taught. So I want to say, I watch news and I watch different news. And then, I read the Quran because I want to see, where we at. And I read, the fall of America. Man, we in trouble. How many of us have food stored up? I'm only talking like this because it's family. How many of us have food stored up? Gotta store that food. And I ran into a believer that was in 75 prior to the minister leaving, and he was very negative about storing food. And he said, "Man, we stored all that food and it went rotten." Well, you didn't do it right. You change in and change out. Like in a store, they come in, they put in new product, they pull the old product up to the front, put the new product in the back. So when you're storing your food, you bring everything that's been in there, you bring it up to the front and you start eating out of it. That's the purpose of canning. So, if you don't know that, now you know that. Don't let your stuff sit there and rot. Pull it to the front and make a meal out of it. And keep storing, because, this brother said they had to throw away everything that he did. He said, "I don't believe that." Okay, well, I know that he was taught right, because everything they did prior to us, everything was taught right. It's just that some of us don't listen. And Allah says in the Quran, only He believes who listens. See? So if you didn't believe that it was coming in 75 or prior to 75, now we're in 2000, almost 25. And there's still some that say, "I don't believe that." Well, I got me a lot of food. Don't be knocking on my door. That's all right. Don't knock on my door. No, I'm not. No, I wouldn't do you like that. But I will give you a complete lesson if you're knocking on my door. You know, because you my brother, you get half of my bean soup.
That's right.
Or a bowl of soup, or half of my muffin, or whatever I'm eating. You know. So we are training for this day. We have been training. Our Master Farad Muhammad gave us a diet that will prepare us for this day. 1 meal a day. Fast 3 days a month. Learn how to fast. If you got children, you might not get your meal. You might have to skip a meal. So 1 meal every other day.
Right. Yes, sir.
1 meal every 3 days.
Right.
Unless you're going to sit there and look at your children starving, or you starving and, you know, pull out your Barbie and want to barbecue one of your children. You know, it says in the Bible that, you know, in that day they will eat their own children. So we don't want to be cannibals, right?
That's right.
The enemy lied and said he found us eating each other. So whatever they were doing, they put it on us.
That's right. Come on.
They were the cannibals.
That's right.
But they went over there and they said, we the cannibals. So in today, they put little stuff, you know, on the social media and stuff, and they find some black folks and they say, well, these guys are cannibals. And they show them eating. You know, it could be the way the enemy made us. You know, they took away everything from us. You know, so what gets me is they got a couple of brothers talking about the Anunnaki. You know, I'm like, this brother really don't know what he's talking about. But he's you know, white folks is listening to him because, you know, he's putting them in ancient history. Let's remember now, they're only 6,000 years old. And as brothers coming with his subject, that's when violence started. You know, there wasn't no violence, no lying and murder until he came in.
Right.
They came in lying and murdering people.
Come on.
We had to put them out.
Right. That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We rounded them up.
Yes, sir.
You know, after we round them up, we beat them for 2,250 miles. We made them drink their own urine. Y'all didn't know that, huh?
No, sir.
We wasn't giving them no water. If you got thirsty, you better step over there and, you know, pee it out and drink it. Put it back in your system. We made them drink their own urine. That's how much we hated what was going on with these people. We took everything from them except the language.
That's right.
And when they got into the caves, they lost the language. So when Musa found them, they was grunting. But then now what did they say? They found us saying ooga ooga boo. It wasn't us, it was them. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
They lost the language. You know, somebody was asking me, I think it was Brother Jake, and I call him brother, you know, because he's in the faith.
Right.
But he wanted to know about Stonehenge. I said, that's not an ancient structure. It's ancient in terms of the time that they've been on the planet. But that was a area that Musa used to put fire around himself because he had to teach them the technology. They lost everything. So he had to build a fire around himself because they were trying to eat him. They were going to kill their own benefactor. And so, you know, I started listening to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And, you know, these people running around saying they the chosen. Well, they did get chosen. They got chosen because they were the ones that listened to Musa. And a covenant was made with them that they would go and teach their people. But they didn't do it. Those ones that called themselves the Jews. You know, they snuck inside the fire, and the other cavies was looking and said, oh, they in there. Ooh, ooh. You know. And Musa started to teach them everything. And when they came out of the fire, they were smart. But they used what they was taught on their own people and then went around the planet and used it on everybody else. You know, the big banker, the big rich man, the richest man ever, Rothschilds died, the patriarch. Now, you know, the minister taught on this that he had 5 sons and he sent them various places to open up central banking. So that, you know, in central banking, they take over the nation. So even here in World War II, they funded Hitler and America and England. You know, they funded everybody because it was a win-win situation. They were going to win either way you look at it. You know, so the Jews say, you know, the Holocaust was horrible, but you have to look at the numbers that they're giving you. You know, it wasn't 6 million of them. You know, it was a lot of them, but it wasn't 6 million. Because you had Italians dying, you had the French dying, the Russians lost 1 million just at the Russian front in the snow. And I don't know how many more they died. The Germans lost 1 million or more, you know. So, you know, lying. They're liars. They lie. And then they get you all sympathetic. They get us all sympathetic, and we fall into the lie. Oh man, that was horrible what happened to them. What about what happened to us? You know, we have to wake up. Something happened to us. A crime was committed.
That's right.
And nobody has addressed the crime but one man, Minister Farrakhan.
That's right. Come on.
He addressed that crime.
That's right.
The messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, addressed that crime. It was a crime committed. So if we go into the courts, the minister went into the courts and they denied the motion. Is that right?
Come on. That's right.
They denied it. And we presented facts that they knew was true. But they denied it.
Right.
Because in denying it, they have to give us reciprocity. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And reparations.
Come on.
They're not going to give us nothing.
That's right.
So Master Farad gave us the English lesson. Why do you like the devil? Because he gives you nothing. Is that right? They ain't gave us nothing, man. Everything that we got right now that looks like progress, we had to fight, scratch for it. Is that right? We had to march in, wade in, picket in. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We had to get beat and killed to get that.
True.
The Japanese didn't have to do that. They put them in the internment camps. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
The Poe native brother, though, you know, we got to bring him in. They just murdered them outright.
That's right.
Because they had a warrior spirit. You know, but I heard something the minister said. He said, you know, when Allah gives you something, you know, there in what he gives you, there's a trial.
That's right.
The trial for them was, what are you going to do with all this land?
Right. Come on.
You know, the minister said, well, they wanted to live in teepees. And now they're upset because the white man took it and built a nation,
That's
a
right.
world off the land that they was living in teepees on. I sympathize with them because they murdered the Native American. But man, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right.
And they didn't use it right. And they don't want us to get it because we're going to use it.
Right.
Every civilization on the planet, they mimicked us, copied us, and then put their face on it, but we built it.
That's right.
They down there, and something got me. They were down in Peru, and they were showing the Peruvians running around naked with spears and bow and arrows, and then they showed the pyramids. And you know, I was looking at it, and I said, wow, well, them people didn't build that.
That's right. Come on. Right.
They didn't build them pyramids, we did. We started in Egypt and went around the planet building pyramids. It was a power center.
Come on.
They were power centers. They wasn't just something, you know, but the enemy puts his fantasy on it. He tell you a lie, and you believe, well, they was over there sacrificing people.
Right.
You know, come on, man. Those were power centers. We left big heads of black men.
That's right.
You know, looking at you, telling you, I'm the builder.
Go ahead.
Is that right?
That's right. Come on.
Thousands of years ago. You know, now they saying the pyramids in some of them places that they found them are way older than 6,000 years.
That's right.
They only put 6,000 on it because that's when they came into existence. 6,000 years ago. So everything is 6,000 years. You know, but those things are, you know, hundreds of thousands of years old. Maybe millions. We don't know. We know you can't carbon date stone and rock. So they don't know. You know, and I found out that they couldn't carbon date stone or rock. I said, man, this man been lying a long time. He got everybody thinking 6,000 years ago. But then, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives us the knowledge that they were made 6,000 years ago. So when they came into existence, those things was already up there. And they were amazed. They were like, oh my God. At one time, they was worshiping at the feet of black people. The Greeks and the Romans.
Yes, sir.
You know, they was worshiping at our feet because they was trying to get the knowledge to build their own civilization after Musa taught them. They was worshiping at the feet of black men and black women. You know. Then when they put the trick in, now all of a sudden here we are. We got his picture up in our house. Call him Jesus. Is that right?
That's right.
He's the Son of God. But the God is the black man. He don't look nothing like my son. Is that right? So with that being said, let me get to my brother because he's got some work to do with this subject. It's a powerful subject. Is that right? Stopping the violence. Well, he's really talking about putting the white man's head on the chopping block and chopping it off. You got to stop violence where it began. Is that right? Then you can get to us because we're made in their image after their likeness. They made us.
That's right. That's right.
And today, man, one thing before I bring brother up, I want to hear how he puts the spin on this. We now have the generation that we need.
Come on.
See, the 40 years wandering in the wilderness is up. We have produced a generation that is killers, cold killers.
That's right.
We need them. Don't look down on them. They just ignorant. But once we get the light in their mind, they already started getting into the gangs. That's the first phase. Now we got to bring them out of the gang into the Nation of Islam, into the knowledge of self, into the knowledge of the time, and they'll see, oh, we was wrong. So repent, get on time, and become the soldier that God wants you to be.
Yes, sir.
See, they are born to clean up the earth, to set the earth in straight back into righteousness. So the Bible in the Revelation said blood will flow to the horse's bridle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So that's them young brothers out there. It's already flowing, but it ain't got real bad yet because the enemy's still tricking our people. You know, they still, we were asked in the lessons, how much of the technology is the devil using? Well, he's at 100% or 1,000% now, man. He got us tricked. We actually think, some of us say, all of them ain't wicked, every last one of them. That's how they was made. They ain't no good in none of them, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. You ever heard the minister talk about that? They was driving, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked him a question, have you ever met a man that had no good in him at all?
Come on.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the minister said no. And then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there you go right there.
Yes, sir. That's right.
The white man, no good at all. So with that being said, you want to know about violence. The most violent people on the planet have been white people. They kill you for money. They kill you for ore. They kill you for things They don't, and they just kill to be killing. They like killing.
That's right.
So now we have produced a generation that like killing too.
Come on.
So praise be to Allah. Let me bring our brother up, brother student minister Herman Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Can we keep it going for the great brother Gerald Muhammad? Praise be to Allah. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came to us, of course, in the divine person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, to whom praise is due forever. I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is in fact the exalted Christ, and really now at this time Mahdi. I bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder, comforter, mercy from Allah, and the Messiah in our midst. It is in their names that we greet you, of course, my beautiful sisters and brothers. In the greeting words of peace, we say, Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone feeling?
Fine, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Too, I'm doing fine by Allah's mercy and grace, just striving to make my word my bond. I'm going to put this up for those of us who are viewing on the YouTube audience. For all things Nation of Islam, go to www.noi.org. For all things Final Call newspaper, which is the biggest and the baddest, the blackest and the boldest news you can use on the earth, go to finalcalldigital.com. And for everything Nation of Islam Denver, go to noidenver.org. Let me give you a shot of the latest Final Call, make sure we get this. Storm, floods, and judgments. That's the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. Make sure we get that paper, man. We got to make sure, especially brothers of the FOI, that we keep this paper in the city every week. This is our lifeline. Is that right? It indicates that there's life in the city. So we cannot fall down on making sure that the Final Call is distributed every single week. Our subject today, let me say this while I got the beautiful believers in the building. To be a student minister under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to represent them, of course, is a great honor.
Yes, sir.
It presents a difficulty, however, because as the student minister, student coordinator of this study group here in the city of Denver, responsible for the word going out to Allah's people in this entire area. You know what I mean? Not just Denver, not just Aurora, but really, man, anywhere where there isn't Islam, we're responsible for getting Islam there.
Yes, sir.
It presents a difficulty in the sense that we have to, as a student minister, I have to try my best to address the problems that are affecting us in our city.
Yes, sir.
Huge responsibility. So with that said, the last couple of weeks, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the news. Some of us don't even watch news anymore. And if you don't, I ain't mad at you. Because it's just so daggone negative, man.
Yes,
That's right. Come on.
And it really is. It really is a mood killer, a mind killer if you're watching the news. Especially when you see all of the death and the destruction that's taking place. Really amongst our people.
That's right.
So that leads to our subject, stopping the violence and the beginning of peace. Stopping the violence and the beginning of peace. And I feel some kind of way because a lot of the people that have been involved in this violence as of late, we know.
That's right. Go ahead.
The little sister in Aurora lost her baby, 14 years old, coming from a party.
Right.
And another 17-year-old is the one who killed the baby.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we got our brother Lumumba Sayers, who lost his son not even a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you know Lumumba, we were with him. What pops in my mind is at the 2015.
Yeah, that's right. 2015.
2015, right?
2015.
And Lumumba was there on the mall. You know, he was talking about Jesus and this and that and the third. And I remember looking at him thinking, man, you know, Jesus is the one who's about to be up on this stage in a hot minute.
That's right.
But he was there. And he does a lot of great community work with regards to the heavy hands and, you know, putting down the guns and pick up your hands. You know what I'm saying? If you got a beef, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get some violence in, do it with your hands. You ain't got to do it with a gun. And so now he's accused of murder.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't say whether or not the brother's guilty, but I'll say this: according to the news reports, it don't look good at all.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we have condolences that we're shooting out to his family, condolences to the young brother Malcolm Watson, his family, because they lost. Man, through this one tragedy, we've already lost, I want to say, 4 black men.
That's wow.
In a year, to that one tragedy. So the subject is timely.
Yeah.
Stopping the violence and the beginning of peace. Let's go with the definition. Y'all know we like words. We like to know what we're talking about. Violence. What is violence? The violence is the use of physical force so as to injure, abuse, damage, or destroy. An instance of violent treatment or procedure. Injury by or as if by distortion, infringement, or profanation. Outrage, intense, turbulent, or furious, often destructive action or force. The violence of the storm. Vehement feeling or expression. Fervor, also an instance of such action or feeling. A clashing or jarring quality. Discordance, undue alteration as a wording or sense in editing a text. From Latin, violentia, vehemence, impetuosity. From violentus, vehement, forcible. So when we talk about violence, man, I mean, that is a powerful and very full definition. And it entails many things. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Violence, in many instances, is necessary. I don't want you all to think that we are totally anti-violence.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's right.
Because we're not.
Right.
Go ahead.
We fight with those who fight with us. That's violence.
That's right.
We got to be clear, right? But when we talk about stopping the violence, we're talking about stopping this use of physical force unnecessarily. Sometimes there's no need for violence.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes violence is totally unnecessary.
That's right.
We live in what can be described as the most violent society in the history of nations.
Come on.
That's right.
Teach.
There's more violence here than anywhere on earth.
That's right. Teach.
This whole system is built upon violence.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So when we talk about stopping the violence, like Brother Gerald was talking about, we really have to destroy an entire system. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, we live in the time, of course, at the end of that time, where the devil, the enemy, was given a time to rule. Is that right?
That's right.
And statistically speaking, you know, the enemy always love to bring up statistics. 6 million Jews and, you know, died in the Holocaust. And that's a lot.
Absolutely.
That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that for every 1,000 years that the enemy has been on the planet, 100 million original people have died at their hand.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
that's 600 million.
That's right.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And it's been that way. Look, Brother Gerald touched on it. Why did we run Yakub? From the root of civilization. Come on now. Of West Asia.
They now call it Europe.
What is the meaning of EU and
ROPE.
How long ago? What did the devil bring with him? And
How long?
He came to teach the devil
The forgotten technology, right? Listen, just the beginning of the answer, because they had started making trouble among the righteous people, telling lies. They accused the righteous people, causing them to fight and kill one another.
That's right. That's what they did. Come on with it.
They already started, man, as soon as we expelled them with violence.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think about that.
Yes, sir, Minister.
And we're talking about stopping the violence. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, one of his most famous tours is the Stop the Killing tour. Went all over the country, man, trying to encourage our people to stop the killing.
Yeah.
Because we were killing each other. But the only reason why we're killing each other is because we don't know who we are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that right?
Go ahead.
You know, we live in a country, it's how violent this country is, where for every 100 people, statistics again, you have 120.5 guns.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
For every 100 people, you have over 120 guns. So if you got 300 million people in America, you got about 365, 370 million guns.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't make no sense, right? There are more mass shootings this year than there are days of the year.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Come on with it.
Teach them.
This is where we live.
Yeah.
So facing all of this, how are we supposed to stop the violence?
Go ahead.
Violence is the order of the day in America, man. Violence is what got God to come out of his hiding place.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Think that over.
Teach.
Yeah.
God was sitting in his high holy place and he heard something. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
According to the scripture.
That's right.
Look. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. But he seen and he heard the violence that was taking place right here.
Yeah.
So that brought him out of his hiding place. Man, he came, and when he saw us in such a miserable condition. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That he sat on a stoop and just cried.
Right.
Before he could even get himself together to get up and fix us, man, he had to just have a good cry. A good man cry, brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
You hear what I'm saying? And then he got up and he went to work, but he was looking at all of the violence that we were subjected to. All of the lynchings, all of the drownings in lakes and rivers, all of the drowning, quartering. You hear what I'm saying? All of the burnings, all of the rapes. I mean, just violence.
Yeah.
They had committed so many acts of violence on us, brothers and sisters, that they had basically killed us in every way. So the scripture describes us not only as blind, deaf, and dumb, but it describes us as the dead. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he saw this condition in receiving the teachings from his father, Master Fard Muhammad, he aptly described us as the so-called American Negroes.
That's right.
Because to call us Negroes, which is what the white man called us, he said it's because it was Spanish for black. Is that right, Brother Jamal?
Go ahead.
But that ain't what it was for.
That's right.
What it was for.
He called us Negro because it meant dead. In this bastardized language that we call English, that most of us can't hardly even speak anyway. It's mainly based upon Latin and other European languages, and of course, Negro is spelled N-E-G-R-O. But in Latin, we know that consonants are interchangeable. So that Negro, that G, could be exchanged for a C. Or a K. In both cases, it means necro, or dead. When you have necrosis, that means something is dying on your body. They got to cut that thing off, or it's going to kill you altogether.
Yes. Come on with it, brother. Teach.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad saw our condition. He saw it. And so he began, of course, to pick us up. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
He began to teach us a proper knowledge of ourselves. So he began to teach us to love self.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we love self, man, you can't kill self. Is that right? When we love self, you can't commit acts of violence on yourself.
Right.
That would look real crazy. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
And so we have to teach our people the knowledge of themselves in order to stop the violence.
Right. Go ahead.
We have to invite our people to the space in truth, brothers and sisters. And all praise is due to Allah. I'm glad it's the believers today. All praise is due to Allah. Because it's our responsibility to go after our people.
Yes, sir.
If they are the dead, and they are the dead.
Oh, yes.
You ain't never seen no dead man get up out no casket.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ever. Never in the history of the world has that ever happened. So if a dead man can't get up out the casket, but it's our job to resurrect the dead, just like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have resurrected us, kind of, sort of. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
He working on us. We a work in progress. Then just the same way that somebody came and got us, we got to go and get them.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to go get the dead man up out the grave and bring him to the truth to help him to know the knowledge of himself. That is the beginning of peace.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
I want to
Go ahead, brother.
I want to say this in regards to acts of violence on one another. Because there are, if we go back to the definition, The use of physical force so as to injure, abuse, damage, or destroy. An instance of violent treatment or procedure, injury by or if by distortion, infringement, or profanation. Listen, there are many different types of violence.
That's right. That's right.
And if we are to stop the violence, if we're conscious people, brothers and sisters, we have to look at beyond just the physical of what's violent.
Right.
See, that's verbal violence.
Yes, go ahead.
Worst time. Come on. That's the worst time.
You hear what I'm saying? Sometimes somebody can hit you in your mouth with their mouth to the point where, man, look, you want to respond physically. Like, what did you say to me? Right? I mean, think this over. And sisters really got that. That's a gift. It really is. It's a gift from Allah. My wife knows what I'm talking about. But that's why they're referred to, brothers, as the weaker sex. Because it's not, they're referred to as the weaker sex only because physically a man is 50% stronger than a woman.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you got some strong women now. Don't get it twisted. But physically, but what Allah has given us physically, He gave it to them in a different manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on with
He gave it to them in a, man, that mouthpiece. There's a reason why the lessons say, man, look, she knows all about you. And a woman can cut, bruh, woo-wee, like no other. Oh man, y'all all right? So the verbal abuse or the verbal violence is something that we have to stop. Because, brothers, we have that as well in terms of our mouths and the way that we use them. Is that right? I lost my notes. So there's physical abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's psychological violence.
Come on.
Right?
Talk about that.
I mean, think about that. Psychological violence. You could damage someone's mind just by, again, using your mouth in an improper way. Telling somebody, and it was done to us, so we should know. You too black.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
You ugly. What does that do psychologically to a child if a parent is saying that to their baby?
Feel insecure.
Yeah, man. I mean, straight up psychological violence because you're damaging, you're injuring that baby.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
And many of us have that, we walk around with that psychological damage that's done and it's never addressed.
That's right.
And we wonder why we can commit acts of violence on another.
Yeah.
It's because you've been damaged yourself.
Right.
Hurt people, hurt people. Sexual violence. Oh man. Most every black woman
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that I've ever talked to will readily admit that they've had an act of sexual violence committed against them. Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
That is a heavy piece for someone to carry. And again, you know, it's not just black men. Black women are more likely to get some therapy than black men for sure. But there's still a lot of black women who don't get therapy
That's right.
and need it.
That's right.
And let me say something, brothers and sisters. If you black and you live in the hills of North America, you came up in this society, you need therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man. I mean that. You need therapy.
That's right.
Because there are things that affect us that we don't even know affect us.
That's right.
We snap, man, and we have no reason why we snap.
Yeah, that's right.
But there is something going on that most of us don't ever talk to another person about.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And most of the times, if it's painful, we
Lock it out.
yeah, we'll lock that thing up and we'll compartmentalize. I love that word, compartmentalize. Put that thing somewhere and stick it and leave it there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, man. I got it.
Yep.
Man, I don't cry. And we'll say it to our sons, brothers. What you crying for?
Wow. That's
What are you crying about?
Yeah.
See, that's trauma that we have that now we're putting on our own children.
That's right.
Yeah. Go
See,
ahead.
it's okay if the baby cry. It's okay. Boys can cry. Just ask him. This is how we should approach it. Brother, I see you're crying. I see you're upset about something. And that's okay. You can cry. But what are you crying about? You see what I'm saying? Because then that makes him, for one, you gave him your approval.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now you want him to actually think about what he's crying about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
See, most of us don't ever get that. It's just like, boy, shut up. What is you crying about? And we deal with everybody in our circle the same exact way.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh man, look. Nigga over there crying. Man, come on, man. The brother is experiencing some pain.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, it hurts so much to where you gotta cry. And that's Allah's way of letting you release it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Socioeconomic violence.
Teach.
Go ahead.
Socioeconomic violence.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
Man, how many, man, we all the victims of that. The minister, all praises due to Allah, man, for that beautiful black man. Y'all remember years ago, he gave us a book to read, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he was speaking of the socio-economic violence that this country has perpetrated all over the world.
Yes, sir. Brother.
Going into African nations, destabilizing their whole entire economy.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Cleaned up.
Domestic violence.
Go ahead.
That person.
Man.
Teach on the Bible.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, look, man, look. If you got to hit your wife, you don't need a wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't never put your hands on your wife. And sisters, don't ever put your hands on your husband.
Yes, sir.
It's the same thing. There's brothers who get beat too.
Yes. Right. They don't admit it. Right.
They will not admit it. Who gonna admit that? My wife go, whoop to. They are not gonna admit it, but it happens. Listen, we gotta love each other enough not to want to physically assault one another.
That's right.
If it gets to that point, leave.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Leave. Leave.
Yeah.
And sisters, let him leave.
That's right. Let them go.
Let him go.
Running after them.
Let this thing cool off, man, till cooler heads can prevail. Because, man, listen, we don't want to be on the news. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Another form of violence, because we're talking about abusing, damaging, destroying, is harassment.
That part, yes.
Go ahead.
You ever been I mean, to be sexually harassed, to be harassed at work, somebody just constantly coming at you.
Yeah, come on, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
See, that's a form of violence.
Right. Go ahead.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna switch. I want to switch gears for a second.
Okay.
I want to talk about this, and I really want our people to hear this, and I'm glad that we, Brother Keith, make sure that's still recording. We still good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, praise be to Allah. I'm glad we put the messages on YouTube because y'all know what's about to happen on tomorrow, right? Tomorrow starts the DNC,
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
right.
the Democratic National Convention. And so y'all gonna be like, Brother Herman, what that got to do with violence? Everything. 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 Because look, they about to have a Negro extravaganza in Chicago.
Yeah,
Oh, they're gonna pull out all the stops.
that's right.
Because they want our people to vote for Kamala Harris. And they already got us, to be quite honest, from what I can see. The majority of the Negroes, they got them. They got them, sis. But they really gonna get them this coming week.
Yeah.
Because they're going to pull Obama out, they're going to pull Michelle out, they're going to pull the Clintons out. It's going to be a party. But the question that, let me put a picture of our candidates up. We got Donald and Kamala. Donald said this morning, I got to say this before I say anything else while my wife's not watching it. He said, I look better than Kamala Harris. He said he looked better. Like, what? What is wrong with this dude? Oh my God. But they're going to pull out all of the stops. But the question should be asked when we're talking about violence, what is Kamala Harris going to do to stop the violence? Or what is Donald Trump going to do to stop the violence and to begin the peace? Because Trump definitely backed by the NRA.
Yeah.
Right? And we talked about them guns already. So we already know them guns going to keep flowing if he gets in office. And they're going to keep flowing if she gets in office too. Because the NRA own both parties.
That's right.
That's right.
But in regard to the DNC, what policies have the Democratic Party focused on? What have they told us about? She released a little piece of her economic policy the other day, and it wasn't much. And they're supposed to lay out their policy. But here's what I want to say with regards to the Democrats, their political positions, and stopping violence. The only platform, and y'all bear me witness, sisters, that Kamala Harris has truly articulated is the platform of, listen to what I'm saying, women's reproductive rights.
Go ahead.
Have y'all heard that? That's what she's talking about. Because, of course, it was under the Biden administration that Roe versus Wade was reversed, right? But it began with Trump and his appointing the 3 Supreme Court justices that gave them the supermajority on the Supreme Court. We got to understand what's going on, right? And so that was his thing. I want to reverse Roe versus Wade.
That's right.
He readily admits that. And so that happened. So now Kamala's appeal, particularly to women, and especially black women, is women's reproductive rights.
Wow.
Are y'all hearing me?
Strategic.
So That's the only platform that she's got thus far. But I want you all to just look at those words. That's why I'm focusing on women's reproductive rights. We're going to restore women's reproductive rights. Look at the language. Look at the language. Because women's you got the right to reproduce when you born. No one ever takes it. How can they? I got a right to, I got reproductive rights right now. I can make a baby. As long as you want to, you can make a baby. What they're talking about is a woman's right to have an abortion.
That's right. That's exactly what she's talking about.
But look at how they frame it. Women's reproductive rights. This is satanic.
That's right.
And so with us, and I asked my wife the same question. I said about the whole women's reproductive rights. And my wife's position and a lot of other women's position, maybe yours as well, sister, is that you should have the right to do with your body whatever you choose. And I agree.
That's true.
I agree. So the government shouldn't legislate, but that's not what Kamala and the Democrats are saying.
That's right. Go ahead.
You do have a right to do with your body whatever you choose. They're talking about the right to have an abortion. To abort what's in your womb. Y'all all right? Yes. I mean, just listen to the devils, man. And then think about because I'm not going to tell you how to think or what you should do. But God has already told us what we should think and what we should do.
That's what he said.
Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Look, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad writes in The Fall of America on page 29. And the chapter is entitled, Babies Murdered. Are y'all listening?
Yes.
Babies murdered. He says, today you read and hear that white America is agreeing to kill unborn babies. They have set up a law for it. This is the worst sin that you could agree on. To have your baby killed before its birth. What are you going to do that for?
Go ahead.
Think about that, man. And how they're going to come at black women. Because Trump, I know Trump is not the most intelligent person. On the surface. On the surface. But beneath, Trump got a little wisdom.
That's right.
Trump, just like Biden, these old white men who, 80 and 90 years old, oh man, they done been through some stuff. The reason why Trump appointed those 3 Supreme Court justices, and the reason why it's his claim to fame to reverse Roe versus Wade, is because he's trying to stop white women from having abortions.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Teach on that part.
Go ahead, bro.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
He don't care if you abort what's in your womb.
That's right.
He can give less than a damn.
Yeah.
But he cares about white women having abortions.
That's right.
Remember, he said, why do we keep allowing all these people from these shithole countries? Excuse my language. And he was talking about Haiti and Cuba and Panama and all these black countries, right? He said, why can't we have more people from the Netherlands? And
that's what he said.
Wow.
do y'all remember that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
They want to stop white women from having abortions. White women, but they gonna catch us up because black women don't have abortions like that. Contrary to popular belief, there's some black women who do, but black women don't have abortions. They don't run to the clinic like that, even though they purposely position these Planned Parenthood clinics in our communities. It's not black women who use abortion as a form of birth control.
Right.
It's white women. They the ones who plan. Look, I can't have no baby right now. I'm in college. I can't have no baby right now. I just started a new job.
Yeah, that's right.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
So this is what they on, man. But they're gonna use Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and Michelle Obama to further their wicked agenda. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm going to read a little bit further what he said in this great book, The Fall of America. Because that was on page 29. He says, after he says, what are you going to do that for? He says, he tried to put out an old, unfounded story that you are getting to be too many people and we have to cut the birth rate. Who needs to cut the birth rate? The black people have no need to cut down. They need to increase their birth rate. The earth and the heavens are histories of how the righteous were always the winners and the victorious people. So will we be the winners and the victorious people. We are not thinking of anyone making us hungry unless it is Allah. And he came to feed us, as it is written. My righteous servant shall eat, but ye shall go hungry. And America, hunger is staring at you now. Unemployment. You cannot buy the food that you used to buy, for you have nothing to buy it with. Man, that's today. That is today. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Listen, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says this. With regard to this same subject, he says, some of us are pro-life. just so that we're clear. Some of us are pro-choice. I am both. I am pro-choice in that women should have the right to choose to whom they will commit their lives. So don't regret bearing life from that one to whom you have made a commitment. I'm not for any woman or man having the luxury of pleasure without responsibility.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a procreational aspect to sex, and it's the neglect of this aspect that gains us disapproval in the sight of God. No one should be free to kill the fruit of the womb, not understanding that what you are producing could be the answer to your own prayers and those of your forebears.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. While the Democrats' only platform for us is, quote unquote, women's reproductive rights. And just look at how they phrase that. Look at how they phrase Planned Parenthood.
Go ahead.
Planned Parenthood. But it's not. Listen how they phrase birth control. I'm going to take this birth control. When it's really them controlling the birth rate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Teach.
Go ahead, brother.
Teach.
Go ahead.
Planned Parenthood is not Planned Parenthood. It's really Parenthood Planned. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
On their part, because whoever going to the abortion clinic giving up their opportunity to give up to have a baby. So they're planning who the parents are going to be. And it ain't going to be you as long as you in that abortion clinic. Planned Parenthood. It don't even make sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Birth control pill, but they controlling the birth rate by you taking it.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have really already given us a way to peace.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
But we have to stop committing those acts of violence.
That's right.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
hear what I'm saying? Like we voting for an act of violence.
Yeah.
Think about that, like, for real. It's not the right to reproduce. You already can reproduce. You're born with that. So why should that be a platform that we would stand on?
Yeah.
Unless we've been tricked. We've been tricked into planning. This devil. We've been tricked into planning and participating in our own destruction.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Man. All praise is due to Allah. The minister, I just want to focus on that last sentence. He said, no one should be free to kill the fruit of the womb, not understanding that what you are producing could be the answer to your own prayers and those of your forebears. No one should be allowed to kill what's in the womb. You didn't put that there.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Look, the minister said, look, there is a procreational aspect to sex. And it's neglect to this aspect that gains us disapproval. There's a procreational aspect to sex. That does not mean that every time you have sex, you're going to procreate.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes,
so what that means is that whenever you do procreate, you didn't do it.
That's right.
Allah did it.
That's right.
That's why you don't have the right to kill it, because you didn't make it.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Allah says, I give life.
That's right.
And I cause death.
That's right.
None of us have that right to say, man, look, you killing Jesus in that womb.
Yeah.
Or Muhammad.
Go ahead.
Or Farrakhan.
Right. Wow.
You killing, like the minister said, the answer to your own prayers.
Come on.
Man. These people. But just watch this show that they put on. In conclusion, I'm in and I see Brother Derek's teeth. When we learn the true knowledge of self, which is the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Mr. Farrakhan.
That's right.
It's contained right in it, like all about yourself.
That's right.
Then we stop committing acts of violence against one another. Is that right?
That's right.
We stop it. And then we come, eventually, the more that we practice, we come into peace. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes,
to where when you do need to commit an act of violence, it's for the right reason.
Come on, there you go.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So the Quran says, and I'm ending. Man, I love this scripture too. This day have I perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor to you, and chosen for you Islam as a religion. That's such a beautiful ayat, and that's just a piece of it. That's like in the middle of the ayat. The ayat is actually really long. But it's in Surah 5, which is Al-Ma'idah, or the food.
Come on.
Man, eat on that. This day I have perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor to you, and chosen for you Islam as a religion. God has chosen for us peace as a religion. As a religion.
Yeah.
Are y'all hearing me?
Go ahead.
He perfected it. There was already religions.
Yeah.
Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
There was already so-called religion before the word known as Islam appeared on the scene.
Yeah.
But Allah says in this context, this day, I perfected religion. See, the way, no matter what you call your religion, and we should tell our brothers and sisters this, peace is God's religion.
That's right.
Come on.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Man. So what we want to do, family, because Islam literally means peace. What we want to do is, we were talking on our podcast about the violence that's taking place. And particularly the sisters who were on the podcast was like, man, black men need to step up to help stop this and curb this violence. And of course I agree, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, 10-10-15, he already told us that.
Yeah, that's right.
He said we need 10,000 fearless to go amongst our people and talk to our people.
That's right.
Really, and really, that therapy that we talking about,
Yeah.
you know, brothers and sisters, sometimes we could talk to our people out there on the street, and when you talk to them, it's like no one has ever talked to them before.
Very true.
That's a fact.
We're seeing this every single Monday. Brother Derek can attest. We go out there, they're so happy to see us. They're like, oh my God. One sister started crying. She said the angels have showed up.
That's right. What she said.
Wow.
So it's like, to talk to our people is to give them that therapy that they need.
Yeah.
At least the beginning of it.
That's right.
To talk to our people is to show them that somebody cares, to where they don't have to commit those acts of violence on one another. But we have to reach out. So it's our hope. We're trying to organize it, but we want to have people from the community come out with us. And we did this a few years ago too. And just walk up and down Colfax and talk to people.
Yes, sir.
They out there, and they are in a miserable condition.
Yes, sir.
This is a jungle.
That.
Like, facts. I don't know how a lot of these businesses can actually stay open. It's crazy. So that's what we want to do, family. We want to continue to invite our people out to hear this teaching. Because y'all know, man, this is the life-giving, life-saving teaching
Yeah, that's right.
of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And like the minister said, even if you don't think that your student minister handles the word right, bring the people out anyway.
Right. Yes, sir. That's right.
Because the people not hearing what you hear.
That's right. That's right.
They don't know what you know.
That's right.
Remember we talked about last week being guardians of the word, right? And that's a beautiful thing, but when somebody first hears it, it's like, man, you might say the black man is God, and that's a whole different perspective for somebody who never heard it.
Yeah.
See, it's commonplace for us. We'd be like, peace, God, you know. But somebody who never heard that, who think that they literally in their mind's eye think and know that they're a nigga,
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on with that, brother.
to say the black man's God, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute, what you say, brother? You see what I'm saying? So let's bring our people out to hear this word and watch it transform them. Watch it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Come on with it.
I'm getting out. I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank you all, because I know we all invited somebody. They just didn't show up. I know I did. But let's focus on going out and getting those people.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Thanks for watching, you guys. We both love and appreciate you for doing so, but we need for you to take some action and do us 1 or 2 or maybe 3 more favors. And that is, go ahead and smash that like button. Share it if you really dig the video. And also subscribe. That way you'll get a bell ding, a notification every time we post something. And it also helps us with regards to the algorithm that, you know, your people like to run. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.